Rudi Newman, a historian and author working with Hertfordshire's library service, and in this series we'll be revealing some of the important, obscure and sometimes unusual stories to be found in Hertfordshire's history. From events that changed the world to stories almost lost to time, they show just how varied and interesting our local history can be. I hope you enjoy. In 1888, a railway opened between Listowel and Ballybunion in Ireland. It made waves at the time and remains a transport icon owing to its unusual nature, the world's first commercial passenger monorail. But why mention it in a series on Hertfordshire's history? Well, it may have been the first commercial monorail, but it was certainly not the first of its type. With the development of the steam railway locomotive by Richard Trevithick in 1803, short steam-hauled industrial railways were an accepted technology by 1825. This year was to be important in railway history, with the opening of the Stockton and Darlington Railway, credited as the start of the railways as we know them today. This would lead to the Liverpool and Manchester Railway of 1830, the famous Stephenson's rocket, and in turn the London and Birmingham Railway of 1838, the first railway built in Hertfordshire. However, history is seldom that neat. The London and Birmingham Railway was indeed Hertfordshire's first conventional railway, but strangely not the county's first. Back in 1825 in Cheshunt, a 1.5 mile long railroad was built to transport bricks and goods to the River Lee. It was based on the patent of Henry Palmer and a design first used at Deptford Docks, London in 1824. It comprised wooden planks 3 inches wide, supported on oak posts with an iron plate fixed on top. Trolleys with 2 wheels sat on top of this track, with a cradle supporting 2 iron boxes, one on either side, suspended below the level of the rail. These trolleys would then be pulled by a horse walking alongside the track, just like towing a canal boat, purportedly being able to move 14 tons at a time. Where the line crossed roads, the track was hinged to be moved out of the way. The line worked for several years, with traffic growing until it needed expanding to take more trolleys. Palmer's system only worked on dead straight track though, so an improved system was devised, but the line would eventually close, likely superseded by later conventional railways. Others would go on to amend Palmer's system in other lines, ultimately leading to Frenchman Charles Lartigue and his famous Listowel Railway. But there was a twist to the story. The line was recorded as opening on the 25th of June 1825, and numerous locals came to see the trolleys in action. Rather than being loaded with bricks, people clambered into the iron tubs and took a ride along the line. Consequently, not only was Hertfordshire's first railway actually an extremely early monorail, only the second in the country, if not the world, but through this opening day stunt, Hertfordshire has the unlikely accolade of hosting the world's first passenger-carrying monorail. Monorail systems are still in use across the world, if not adopted as widely as once envisioned. How many would think, though, that their design went back to the very birth of the railways, or that their passenger origins would lead back to a Hertfordshire brickyard? If you would like to know more, there is plenty available, and Hertfordshire libraries are a great place to start, with many online resources alongside material in your local library. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and thanks for listening.